So Gina Carano is returning to Star Wars very soon if she chooses to, but before that happens, one very important thing has to happen to make that possible. So we all know how wild this Gina Carano situation has been, and we all know how much money Disney has lost, Star Wars has lost, because Gina Carano has been fired, and also how much money Disney and Star Wars will lose in the future, and how much Gina Carano's firing is going to hinder the Mandalorian universe's, the Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni universe's success going forward. Jon Favreau went out and handpicked Gina Carano. That doesn't happen often. Usually, whenever things are happening like this, whenever a whole universe is being set up, whenever something like the MCU happened, they did casting calls. They didn't go out and handpick people for the most part. Every once in a while, you go out and handpick someone when you really have a vision for what a character is supposed to be, and that's what Gina Carano was for Jon Favreau. He went out and handpicked Gina Carano because he had a true vision on who the Cara Dune character would be, and yes, she was just a side character, the Mandalorian, but I truly think that Jon Favreau had huge plans for the Cara Dune character because he went out and handpicked her. I think he had big plans for her to be a semi-main character, at least when it comes to the Rangers of the New Republic. I think that she was going to be the main character of the show. A lot of reports are out there saying that she was going to be kind of co-main characters with a couple of other people. But even then, it's not going to be a side character gig anymore. She's going to be the main character of a show, and I think she's going to be a very important part of the Mandoverse going forward, probably up until the climactic ending of the entire universe. I think that Cara Dune, Gina Carano, was going to have a huge part to play, and I think her firing, it's not even that I know her firing is going to hinder what Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni had in mind for the Mandoverse. You know, there's going to be a little bit of a void in there, and whether or not they recast her, I don't know, but I think that that void is going to be filled by none other than Gina Carano herself. Like I said, first, something very important has to happen. Something very big has to happen to make that possible, and that's that Kathleen Kennedy has to leave. And we know that it's pointing towards Kathleen Kennedy leaving. You know, Kathleen Kennedy is most likely going to leave Lucasfilm, and I don't think she's going to be fired. She's not going to be publicly humiliated like everyone wants her to be. I mean, I don't really want her to be publicly humiliated, but it seems like a lot of people out there do, and that's not going to happen. She's going to leave, and she's going to be fired behind the scenes. You know, they're going to say, we don't want you here anymore. This isn't working out. You're not making us the money that we're supposed to be making off of the biggest IP in the world. Something's going wrong here. We have to be able to try something else. We have to be able to try someone else. You know, you're losing us money when it comes to Star Wars. You're losing out on a lot of potential money. So they have to try something else. She's going to be fired behind the scenes. But when it comes to the public perception, they're going to make it seem like she left. They're going to give her a lot of awards. They're going to make her seem very respected by everyone at Disney, by everyone at Lucasfilm. Everyone's going to have all these tweets saying how amazing Kathleen Kennedy was. And all these woke people on Twitter, all these people who love the sequel trilogy so much, who love Kathleen Kennedy so much, are going to be like, look, see, everyone loves Kathleen Kennedy. Why would you ever want her to be fired? She's so amazing. But no, that's just what they want you to think. That's not how they truly think about her. That's how Hollywood works. No one is ever publicly humiliated after working for a company for that long because she knows too much. She's going to sign an NDA. She's going to get all these awards. Like my boy Valiant Renegade said when I made that video a while back when he DM'd me all that stuff, she's going to be showered with awards. And in return, she's going to sign an NDA to not tell all the secrets that she knows from working at Disney, from working at Lucasfilm as long as she has. But yeah, like I said, to have Gina Carano come back, Kathleen Kennedy has to be gone. Because Kathleen Kennedy will not allow Gina Carano to come back because she has such a big ego. She's just not going to allow that. This is not something that Kathleen Kennedy would do. She wouldn't go back on her word. She wouldn't make herself look like she did something wrong, like she made a bad decision. Let's look at the facts about this. Why Gina Carano is returning to Star Wars once Kathleen Kennedy is gone. Remember this? On February 16th, right when Gina Carano was fired, Hasbro drops Gina Carano Mandalorian toys no longer approved for production. Whenever this happened, it was a big deal. It was a big deal for a lot of people, including myself. This was huge because this meant that not only was Gina Carano fired from The Mandalorian, not only was Gina Carano fired from Disney, from Lucasfilm, but Gina Carano was truly canceled. And not just by the woke Twitter mob, Gina Carano was canceled by Disney and by Hasbro and by anyone else who was affiliated with Gina Carano. She was being wiped from the map. Her toys were canceled. Her action figures were no longer approved for production. That's crazy. That's crazy that you can't even sell Gina Carano lookalikes for toys. They even stopped the orders for the Amazon toys that were already put out. Customers had already put in orders to buy Gina Carano toys, and they wouldn't even fill those orders. That's how crazy it got. But now, we're seeing stuff like this. Cara Dune appearing in new Star Wars toys, despite Gina Carano firing. She's appearing in Lego toys after her toys were completely canceled. Even if you already put an order in, you couldn't get those toys. She was being completely wiped from the map, truly canceled like pretty much no other person has ever been. Like, she has been completely wiped from the map. At least she was. Not anymore. She's on her way back now. 100% Disney is trying to ease everyone into the fact that Gina Carano was coming back to Star Wars to play Cara Dune. She was fired for a while, she was canceled for a while, but now they're realizing, dude, she has a lot of fans. You know, we can make a lot of money. Not only can we make a lot of money on Cara Dune, on Gina Carano going forward if she were to come back, but we're also losing out on a lot of potential money if she doesn't come back. If we don't offer her the job to come back, we at least have to make amends with Gina Carano in some sort of way to get all these people back who canceled Disney Plus, who said, you know what, I'm not going to pay for Disney Plus. I'm not going to support Disney if they're going to do this to people like Gina Carano for simply expressing their beliefs. We also have stuff like this. Gina Carano uncanceled. This was back on April 25th, but a lot of big stuff happened around this time. Score at Walmart. Someone tweeted out a picture of a Cara Dune toy being sold at Walmart. And like I said, Hasbro drops Gina Carano Mandalorian toys, no longer approved for production. They even stopped the Amazon orders that were already put out. They wouldn't even fill the Amazon orders. And now they're seeing Cara Dune toys pop up at Walmart. A little bit fishy, right? Then around the same time, the Running Wild with Bear Grylls episode is going to air on National Geographic. If you don't know, National Geographic is owned by Disney. Disney is allowing, after canceling it, whenever she was fired, not only were her toys also canceled, not only were her toys also stopped when it comes to production, but also her National Geographic episode, her Running Wild episode with Bear Grylls was also canceled. And that is being allowed to air now. That already aired a while back. It was a great episode. Very happy for Gina Carano that she was able to do that. But the fact that that's all happening around the same time, that is huge. And then after that, we got the Lego announcement. And after that, a couple months after that, we got the announcement that she's going to be in new Lego toys going forward. Huge stuff. This is all huge stuff pointing towards Gina Carano returning. If you don't see it, then you probably just don't want to see it. And we already know that Jon Favreau is a huge fan of Gina Carano, is a huge fan of the person of Gina Carano, friends with Gina Carano. We saw this report a while back. This was right before she was fired. Jon Favreau reportedly stops Disney from firing the Mandalorian star Gina Carano. And like I said earlier, he went out and handpicked Gina Carano. That doesn't happen for no reason. He did that for a specific reason. He had a vision for the Cara Dune character, and his vision for the Cara Dune character plays in heavily to the vision for the overall Mandoverse. And his vision for Cara Dune heavily relied on Gina Carano, or else he wouldn't have handpicked her. They would have just did casting calls like you normally do for characters. But apparently Jon Favreau stopped her from being fired. But then right after that, she made that Instagram post, and Disney was looking for a reason to fire her. We know they were. And she gave them that reason. The headlines that were being written about that Instagram post were the reason. They gave them the reason, not Gina Carano, because what she posted on Instagram wasn't even bad. It was kind of true, you know? She kind of was just speaking facts. But the headlines that were being written about that Instagram post really gave Disney all the cause that they needed to cancel Gina Carano, to fire Gina Carano officially. And it sucks, man. It sucks that happened. It sucks that Disney, I don't think they fell victim to headline culture. I think that they just, benefited from headline culture. I think the headline culture gave them a reason to fire Gina Carano, a person that they wanted to fire a long time ago. But also, like I said, the one thing that we need to happen for Gina Carano to come back into Star Wars, for Gina Carano to have that possibility, that option to come back into Star Wars, whether or not she accepts it is all up to her. I don't know if she'll accept it or not. I wouldn't blame her if she didn't. She was very harshly mistreated by the company, publicly humiliated by the company, fired, and not even in a very gracious way, and honestly in a horrible way, because apparently she didn't find out until people started writing articles about it, until she accidentally got an email about it from Lucasfilm. But it's absolutely horrible the way that she was fired, and obviously the reason that she was fired was also horrible. But Disney might be finally turning its back on Kathleen Kennedy's Star Wars. And this is just one of many articles saying this. One of many articles saying that Indiana Jones 5 is going to be Kathleen Kennedy's last project when it comes to Lucasfilm. She's gone. In my opinion, I think that even if she renews her contract in October, I think that she'll probably retire a couple months later. I don't think that she's going to be around for much longer. And like I said, I think that she'll get showered with awards, and in return, she'll sign some sort of NDA to not write a tell-all book, or just speak on stuff that she's learned at Disney, stuff that she's seen that she's not supposed to talk about, that no one wants her to talk about. Because being at a company for that long, a company like Disney, as big as Disney, there's probably a lot of shady stuff that goes on behind the sines that they don't want Kathleen Kennedy talking about. They don't want anybody talking about, for that matter. And Kathleen Kennedy definitely knows some stuff, because she wouldn't have been around for this long if she didn't. Let's face it. She's just not good at her job. I'm sure that she's a wonderful lady. I heard Cameron Pasha say it the other day, I'm sure that she's a great person. You know, he said that he met her and she's a very sweet lady, and I wouldn't doubt it. You know, I'm sure that she's a great person, but when it comes to stuff like this, I'm just attacking the job that you're doing. Like, how good are you at your job? And Kathleen Kennedy, if we just look at the facts, she is not that good of her job. She doesn't make the amount of money that should be made off of Star Wars as an IP. She can't keep writers, directors, producers. She can't keep people on projects that she hires for projects that people get very excited about. They always end up leaving the project for creative differences. She just can't do her job correctly. It's the same thing with NFL quarterbacks. Whenever people say that, you know, certain quarterbacks should be benched or cut or coaches should be fired, we're not attacking a person's character. We're attacking the job that they're doing at the job that they're hired to do. The job that they're being paid a very handsome amount of money to do. We're attacking the job that you're doing. Kathleen Kennedy is just not doing a good job, and she needs to be fired. She needs to step down, and I'm fine with her being showered with awards and everyone tweeting about how much they love and respect Kathleen Kennedy. I don't care what happens. I want good Star Wars. That's all I want, and I want Gina Carano to come back. I think that justice for Gina Carano needs to be a thing, and I think that we will definitely get justice for Gina Carano. If Gina wants to come back, she will have the option to. I 100% believe that she will have the option to going forward. Let me know what you guys think. Will Gina Carano want to return to Star Wars? Will she even get the ability? Will she even get the opportunity to return to Star Wars? Let me know what you think in the comments. I truly think that she will. I think Kathleen will be gone, and she needs to be gone for Gina to come back. But let me know what you guys think as always. If you did enjoy this video, please leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. If you want to follow me on Twitter or join the Discord, but those links in the description as well. Thank you for watching the video. Hope to see you in the next one.